La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
Get out the matrix and live.
You know what day it is? Inner Wealth Podcast. Meditate and give. So manifest the greater this. And things all good cause I say it is. Invest in your inner wealth. Real generational wealth is mental health. It's an inside game, no toxicity. Let's talk and more listening. Ladies and gentlemen, and now introducing David McCullar, founder of Inception, the first mental health gym.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
Get out the matrix and live.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Inner Wealth Podcast. I got a special guest in the building. They all special, first of all.
That's right. I'm just a specialist.
Any person I bring on is a special guest. So, got my guy here, Cartier Madlock. What up, though?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
That's good, man. I'm good. It's been a long time since I seen you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The roles have been reversed.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I didn't even think about that. The first time that I've met you, you were interviewing me for
Inception.
Yeah, but you had a whole business surrounding.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm a content creator by trade, I guess I would say, and the show was called Entrepreneur, which I have patented and trademarked at this point. So
Oh, congratulations!
thank you. Yes, sir. So it's good to be back.
Well, you're looking a lot different than the last time I saw you.
Yeah, just a few pounds lighter.
few pounds.
Yeah.
So we're gonna dive deep into this topic, which was your weight loss.
Yes.
And really an extreme weight loss, because you talked about how much weight did you lose?
120 pounds.
And over how much time frame?
It took me about a year and a half, but since going plant-based, it's been about 2.5 years.
Okay, so plant-based is the way that you got there?
Yes.
All right, and you've seen shows like The Biggest Loser?
I have.
What do you think about those shows?
I fear for those people after the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's not necessary. I don't think it's sustainable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're losing weight that fast, and I've read articles where, and I don't know if it's true, but they use a lot of thermogenics and fat burners, things like that, and probably extremely low carbs, and just stuff it's hard to maintain.
I worked with clients for years who came in for weight loss, and my business was surrounding all really about the brain,
right?
Neurofitness. So we were doing brain training and neurofeedback technology, and people come in and say, "Well, how can I lose weight from training my brain?"
Right.
And the reason is because it's not the food.
No, sir.
So when I ask you, so that's the way that you got there. You say, "Yeah, but no." Because it's not the food.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's talk about what really got you there.
That's right. So
what happened in your life that made you say, because, okay, you lost 120 pounds. What were you before that, if you don't mind me asking?
390 pounds. And at my very heaviest, I was 410 pounds. But that's not necessarily recorded because, it was basically purposeful. I didn't want to be seen in pictures and, you know what I mean? So I wasn't even comfortable taking a picture of the scale at that point.
So let's talk about that journey. Let's go to the 410 part.
Right, yes.
Where were you mentally, emotionally to be there?
Okay. All right. So, and I may cry on this podcast.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
freedom and expression here, real expression, expression of all emotions. So you're good. So
at that point, man, I was working at one of my brother's car lot. I was living in the car lot, and it was a small space. I was eating out every day, every night. I was drinking like a pint every night. Eating whole pizzas. It was just I had gotten to that point from being evicted from my apartment maybe a few months prior. And, he offered me that space, and, I helped him out at the car lot, sell cars and stuff like that. And
so you lived in your brother's car lot?
Yes, I did, yes.
Okay.
And that was the 410 pounds. So, that was actually, maybe that was around 2011, 2012ish.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a while ago, but like I say, just mentally, man, I was, ashamed that was my circumstance. Yeah, and just binge eating, and drinking every day, smoking, just, completely unhealthy lifestyle. I even call it like a coward suicide,
Coward suicide, slow death.
Exactly.
Now, but you were there and you lost your apartment, but what do you think, what was the pain surrounding all of that?
That I knew I had greatness in me, and it was completely untapped. That, so to speak, I had even given in. A lot of that. My response to life being difficult was just to eat and
Well, you're self-soothing.
Exactly, self-soothing. You know what I mean, and that all the while. I just know I have this greatness in me. I have talent, whether it was musically, just creative talent, that was untapped. And, just to know that I had gotten myself in that predicament, it was depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there circumstances leading up to all of that? Like because I always go back to the root.
Sure. Okay.
Typically, it's all trauma-based.
Yes.
So if you're willing to share, whatever you're willing to share, was there some trauma that took place? And it's important that the audience listen to people who are considered overweight.
Right.
Like, you're not there because what you ate.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm trying to.
You ate what you ate because of what previously happened.
Because I said, why the pain?
Exactly. So let's say, like, if anybody has watched, like, The Biggest Loser, and people don't really, not The Biggest Loser, what is it? My 600-Pound Life. And Dr. Now and all of that stuff. If anybody has watched that, and people don't really bring this up, but one common thread that you see amongst these people is that they were usually sexually abused or, some type of childhood trauma. Now, that is, thank God that's not necessarily my story at all. But I would just say, man, for the most part, I was kind of coddled. You know what I mean? Like, I was a mama's boy. And I was spoiled to an extent. You know what I mean? I'm still, born and raised in Detroit, from the hood. I saw everything that anybody else from the neighborhood would have seen. But I was coddled. I got to eat what I wanted. I was manipulative, and I became good at that. And so my relationship really with my mom was that of of a friendship for the most part.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We were each other's counsel.
So your dad wasn't around?
No, dad wasn't around.
Okay.
And that's an interesting thing. So I lost my dad, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago to a stroke. It was
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. It was his third stroke, I believe. And, when you grow up without a father, and he may have, let's say so I have, 3 brothers and a sister, and he may have been in their lives to an extent. It makes you wonder, what is wrong with me? Why are you not in my life? And why? So I was the youngest at that point. So, and that was the thing. So I guess it was a mental kind of wrestling with that. Like, what is it? I tried
There's a trauma.
Yeah, I became an overachiever.
Yeah.
There you go. So it was like I played chess. I did academic games, every extracurricular activity. I played football. I was good at basketball. And I think all of those were like cries out, like, come see me, like, come watch what I'm trying to do. Of course, to no avail, but it made me become like a people pleaser and an overachiever, a perfectionist even.
So in that time though, what was your weight like?
I was always a big kid.
Because you're typically your structure, you're bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so and my brothers are as well. That's our structure.
And that's the real weird thing about some of these weight loss shows is like, you shouldn't look my size.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No matter
it doesn't fit.
It doesn't. That's not your structure.
Exactly.
Right. So when we talk about this image too, and that plays a big role in it. Like, no matter how much I lift weights, and I'm not going to be Ronnie Coleman.
Exactly.
Right? And I just have those genetics.
Watched him last night. That's funny. His genetics. He attested his success to his genetics more so than anything. So.
At what point in time did you, because you said you were a people pleaser, and those are all trauma symptoms, right? We're trying to you know, like, yeah, find some peace within by, hey, can you come see me?
Exactly.
You know, so when did it get to the point where was it when you was living in the car lot when it got to the point where you're like, I don't want anybody to see me? Because you were at one point where you want to be seen.
Come see me.
Now you don't want to be seen.
Yeah, that very interesting. I've never heard it, you know, approached like that, and so yeah, I believe so. You know, it was you know, and just an uphill battle for everything. I was just trying to. Excuse me. At that time, I was really trying to. I was rapping. You know what I'm saying? I have 3 hip hop albums that nobody knows about. Oh yeah.
What was your name?
The first one actually was called Love and Other Drugs. Second one was Renaissance Man, and the last one was called The Cool. So my rap name was Cardi Cool.
Okay.
And I was really good, to be honest. You know what I mean? I was musically inclined. I was classically trained vocally. So, you know, I in high school, I sang on my high school graduation. I played some guitar. So I've taken that route. So it was see me. You know, I want to do any and everything, you know, to be seen. But at the same time, like you say, when those hardships hit, it was like, you know, it was the complete opposite. Yeah, I didn't.
So let's go back to that. You said your mom sheltered you.
Yes, the best she could.
And sheltering is not a bad thing. What I found out growing up, because I mean, I didn't grow up in to call it the hood is one thing, like, but it's like we grew up all knowing that we weren't safe.
Very true.
As a black man.
Yes.
My mom wouldn't buy me a pair of Jordans younger because you're going to die.
Yep.
You know, no photon, no laser tag guns. Yep. They were shooting us then with those guns. Those are play guns.
Yeah, now we just have the cameras to prove it.
So we were younger at that point in time. I was younger, and that was in our consciousness.
Exactly.
There wasn't gunshots happening running down my street. Now you go a couple streets up.
There you go. Right.
You know it can go down.
Yeah.
But so your parents, they're going to protect you from seeing a lot of stuff. So I want to break down what does coddling mean to you versus like, did your mom just protect you? Like, what did that look like?
So for the most part, I would say I was definitely the when the street lights come on kid. You know what I'm saying?
Same here.
My mom was at the street calling me. You know what I mean? Which again I appreciate to this day. So that was the thing. You know, it was a different upbringing compared to my peers at that point, you know. So, and I grew up and I started to see my attachment to her, you know, like if she was going out somewhere, I wanted to go as opposed to hang out with my friends because I could probably get her to buy me something, or I could get a meal, you know, or something like that. So it was just it was interesting. And the older I got, you know, I started to believe that crippled me to an extent, you know, because when adversity would hit, I didn't necessarily have that fight.
Okay, so that's what I was trying to understand. And in that dynamic, you can probably dive way deeper into that because I've seen and grown up with people where their parents shielded them from everything trauma, like or can perceive trauma, because some stuff is not trauma, just your perception of it.
Exactly.
Like I said on the last podcast, my dad used to make me go and get the money because we had a landscaping business. Now go collect the money.
Right.
Doing stuff you're uncomfortable doing.
There you go. It's a form of therapy.
So it's a form of putting your son or daughter into positions that are uncomfortable so that the nervous systems can start to adapt in a way that as they get older, by the time I was with my dad from 10 years old doing a landscaping company. So by the time I'm 16, going to work a job is not
even on your radar.
That's not even an issue.
Right, yeah.
I remember working at Kaplan University down in South Florida, and a lot of people who they hired were from the Caribbean because it's a huge Caribbean population.
Right. And
I remember one of the girls who went to Florida Memorial, she just graduated, and they hired her, and she was in my training class. By the time she got to the floor, she was like, I can't do this. By that time, I had worked so many shitty jobs, bro, that like hard, that my nervous system was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But her was like, this is horrible. So you see, I'm trying to go. I'm trying to see with you. So when you got out to wherever you went out to, what was it that was like, yo, this is too much?
Yeah. You mean like when I got out to To what point?
Whatever real world experience that you feel like began to cripple you.
Yeah, so, you know, it's interesting. I mean, my introduction to the work world was, let's see, my first job I was a caddy. And I believe I talked about this with my fiance either last night or the night before last, just my work experience and experience with work and how I saw my mom approach it. So coming up, you know what I mean? It was nothing to miss a day. For me going to school, it was nothing she would literally some days, and my mom was an awesome mom. So, but some days we wake up, she would say, "You want to play hooky?" Yeah, of course. I don't even think I ever turned that down, of course, until I got older, and then I'm hanging with my friends and the stuff we want to do at school. But so there was that. But you know, so my first job, like I said, was a caddy. I've done everything from door to door, selling AT&T to telemarketing, you know, what have you. So, but I just never really viewed it as a big deal when you didn't uphold your word. And that is what I think, you know, required an undoing. And that's what I try to do with my daughter now, is correct those mistakes. And that's all we can do, you know, as parents of the next generation, is try to, you know, kind of tweak where we feel like, you know, we may have lacked.
So you wouldn't hold true to what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, and it wasn't a big deal to me. It was like, why would somebody be upset? It's people miss stuff all the time.
So with that mindset, how did that hurt you when you were on your journey to losing weight? Because you have to now uphold what you want to do.
Exactly.
Right.
So, and that's the thing, you know, I've throughout that journey, or this journey, I would say, because it's an ongoing journey, I have binge sessions. You know, I still binge eat, you know, and I try to keep it to a minimum. I've been on a pretty good streak lately. But that's where I really understood I have an addiction to food, you know, or just that comforting feeling, you know. So, and when I say binge eat, you know, it would almost be like eating for sport. How much can I eat? You know, 2 burgers and a bag of fries, you know what I mean? A whole pizza every time. My grandmother, when we would be at my grandma's house, she would stand in the kitchen after she cooked and wait for us to eat so that she could wash the dishes. But she would always say, "Waste not, want not." So you were supposed to eat all of your food. My cousin Dwayne, he wouldn't really eat all of his food. He was kind of like my brother growing up. So, but I would always eat mine. And I guess in you know, in hindsight, I would maybe trying to please her. You know, it's like, hey, look at me. I ate all of mine. You won't ever have to worry about me. And I think, and I'm taking it somewhere else, but I never wanted to be like a burden, I guess, to the women in my family, you know, especially my mom and my grandma, you know. So it was always, I'll get the good grades, I'll do whatever needs to be done so that y'all have maybe one less worry, because I've seen all of the struggle, you know what I mean? So
most people that I've seen brain maps of when we used to do brain mapping, and they were people who were trying to lose weight, a lot of them, their brain was stuck in fight or flight.
Yeah, and it's no surprise.
So for me, it's freeze. When I go into a protection mechanism, freeze is typically something I would used to go into, and I would shut down from eating. Okay. Imagine, I'm not a big guy.
Right, no doubt.
So if I'm stressed out, it hits me in my gut, I'm shut down. Some people, the opposite.
Go straight to
So
it.
fight or flight, you're like, I need carbs.
That's right.
Because that's the energy you need to get away from threat. So now you're sitting and you're just binging on carbs. So the issue is not the weight.
Right.
It's not even the mind. It's the brain and the nervous system that's stuck. And you're trying to regulate yourself. You're trying to, if I'm up, I'm trying to come down.
Right.
Right? That's typically what it is. That's why when we train people, we see that whole idea of addiction is not it's not an addiction. It's a desire to soothe and get out of pain.
Okay.
That
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, and I even, you know, now I'm more conscious of it, you know, when stress hits, or, you know, situations don't work out the way I expected them to, or wanted them to, my reaction is I want to drink, and the drink subsequently leads to bad food, and I, throughout this journey, I've always kept it vegan, but it's nothing to go get 2 Impossible Burgers or Beyond Burgers.
So let's talk about that, because again, we're talking about, it's not about the food, because you can abuse water.
Exactly.
You drown, but
right.
But you can abuse any forms of eating.
Exactly.
If you consume enough of it, right? You can be a fat vegan.
It's a big community of that.
Right? Because you think that, well, this is healthy, so it's okay. But the real issue, and from my fitness journey and understanding, overconsumption is going to always lead to excess energy, which is considered fat. That's all fat is. Yep. It's stored energy.
No doubt. And that's, you see it a lot. And that kind of cut on a light bulb. Like you say, there are overweight vegans, a large community of them. And that's the thing. Like, you may have, taken this route and had the discipline to not eat animal products, but have you dealt with the mental trauma?
You ain't dealt with the mind yet.
Yeah, because healthy is healthy. There's no way around it. I've fluctuated my weight countless times, and I'm always feeling better when I'm at a lower weight. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah. What is your ideal?
I don't necessarily know if I have one. I was 230 pounds in high school, and I was playing football, and I was in the best shape of my life. I had to lose 80 pounds to get to 230 pounds. So I was 310 pounds when I was in 10th grade playing football. So everybody knew me in the PSL as the guy who lost the weight,
Okay.
And not only did I lose it, but I became very muscular, so I was eating high protein. I was one of the first Atkins diet people.
Okay.
So I was really muscular, all of that stuff. But yeah, that's something I've always dealt with. And what was the question again? I'm sorry.
It's about, you always dealt with weight.
Yeah, always dealt with weight. Yeah, I mean, all my life. So that was my first, extreme weight loss, was the 80 pouns.
How many of them have you done so far, you think?
Man, countless. And simply because, on an 80-pound weight loss journey, you may gain 40 at a point. You know what I mean? And now you may have lost 120 total. If you look at it that way. So. And that's the thing, I especially people who struggle with binge eating, me getting from 390 pounds to 270 pounds, that's my 120-pound weight loss. But, it's nothing.
That's the lowest you've been?
In a lot of years,
okay.
Yeah. But it's still nothing to gain 20, and then lose 15 and then gain 5. And so maintenance is by far the most difficult part for me. Yeah, so I fluctuated a lot.
I think it's just probably some other key components that you can add in there that will change your perception of what's considered maintenance.
Okay, no doubt.
Is it really maintenance, or is it just sustainability?
Right.
I guess it's the same word. You have to maintain, but instead of maintain, that sounds hard.
It does. That's true.
Gotta maintain this weight.
Right. Do everything you can to make sure it doesn't go back this way.
That sounds very tough to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I gotta maintain this status, maintain this weight. So the mind and how we perceive things is so important.
Right.
And off air, we were talking about too. Like, let's break down what it means in terms of weight, because that's a very abstract weight loss. Some people get on the scale and they're like, oh, I lost 20 pounds.
Right.
But 10 of it probably was water.
Exactly. And that happens a lot. I juice fast a lot, and that happens far too often. So, something I try to do, especially when I'm on a good streak and I'm really liking the way my clothes are fitting and how I'm looking, I stay away from the scale. It's like, I don't need that negativity in my life, because we all know it can be fickle. Hey, you may have gained 5 pounds, but or gained 5 pounds of muscle, and you're losing fat in your waist, and things like that. So when I'm really enjoying the way I'm looking and feeling, I stay away from the scale.
Have you ever got a DEXA done?
No.
You got to go get a DEXA done, bro.
Okay, what is that?
DEXA. It's a dual X-ray analysis.
Okay.
So it measures your fat, but it also measures your bone density. So when you're on it, it scans your whole body from head to toe, and you see where everything is in terms of fat deposits, muscle mass, all of that you see from a dual X-ray. It's a better way to measure. If you want to call it weight loss or weight gain, it's a better way to measure and see where you really are.
Okay.
Versus flying. I'm a data guy.
Yeah.
So I want to fly blind.
Exactly.
Blind is, I got on the scale and it said up or down.
Right.
That's your measurements.
That's true. Yeah.
Up or down.
Up or down. Yeah.
So a DEXA, and if you go to I used to go to Eastern.
Okay.
Eastern University.
Yeah.
I think I paid like $50 for it, a DEXA. I don't know how it is during the pandemic because I went right before they shut down, but getting one of those a year or so to really see, I got one of them. It shows you again, you're like a skeleton.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm
down with that, man. And like you spoke of, just being a data guy, that's what really kind of helped me along my journey as well. And I'm sure you're familiar with podcasts like Impact Theory, things like that.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Joe Dispenza, you know, just understanding the mind and why certain things happen, when they happen, and what's going on when those things happen. That really helped me to understand this process and you know, what's happening at certain times so that I can respond properly.
I got something for you, bro.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk about right here.
Yeah.
Let's do a documentary. Let's document either 30 to 90 days.
Okay.
And you the video guy, so I want you to document your whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring some inner hacking techniques to you.
Okay.
You already did a bulk of the work.
No doubt. Yeah.
But what is the next part? And the next part doesn't have to be about weight.
Okay.
Like, I lost this amount. The next part is about how you feel, how you think. Because let me ask you a question. When you look in the mirror after you've gone through this weight loss journey, how does that feel when you look in the mirror?
It you know what? It feels it's empowering. It feels, light years better. But what never goes away is that self-consciousness.
That's why I asked that question.
Yes, exactly.
When you look in the mirror,
it's never enough.
When you look in the mirror, can you see you for who you are versus who is that?
Right.
Like, you're shocked, almost a shock.
Exactly.
It's a shock to your system to see you a certain way because your brain pattern is like, no.
Yeah.
That's not protection.
Yeah, okay, right.
Because fat is protection. That's not protection.
No doubt.
You taking away my defense mechanism by doing all this look good in the brain. Like, I don't care about all that.
Now I have to actually perform.
Now I have to self-sabotage.
Oh, there you go. To get that comfort back.
To get the safety back. What's comfort? Safety.
Yeah.
I'm safe when I'm not seen. I'm safe when I'm insulated from fat.
Right, yep.
All those things. So can we get to the state where we look in the mirror and we say, oh, I look good, but not like, oh man, like afraid and anxious about what happens if I gain this back, and then am I going? Because now you got a big following too.
Right, and that's accountability.
Let's talk about that. But let me finish my other thought first.
Sure.
I go down the road. Let's document you come into Inception, and let's do some stuff.
Yeah, let's definitely do that. I will bring the cameras every time. I'm at that phase where, you know, I'm trying to elevate to the next thing. Like you say, the weight has been lost. I do have goals to lose more, but let's not make this phase necessarily about weight loss, but about how you feel, how you view things. And that's paramount.
It's about
for me.
becoming your greatest version of yourself, bro.
100%.
And it ain't about the losing the weight.
That's right.
Because that right there, my weight loss journey, that's horrible. What is your That's a negative. What's the greatest version of yourself that you feel confident? And it may be that you are heavier, but you're healthier.
Exactly.
It's a total difference.
Yeah. And like they say, you know, like you said, that word journey, because, you know, I'm sure you're familiar with the quote, success is a journey, not a destination, but that implies that the journey is done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My weight loss journey, there it is. But this shit does, and I'm sorry, but
No,
it doesn't stop.
It's a customer show.
Okay, there we go. Right.
Biggest Loser, I used to see them go on and do these weight loss that we talked about in the beginning, weight loss journeys, and then
Right.
they would go home and they would build it all back because the environment that they were in was not conducive to what they experienced when they was in LA. You can go lose 120 pounds when you're in LA and
Palm
everybody
trees.
around you and they looking at you and it's a big competition. But when you come back to your environment in Detroit and it's gloomy and it's cloudy and in your home you ain't got a chef and you ain't got all this stuff and it's all the brain's remembrance and triggers to go right back to what you were.
Yes. That's huge. Like, we just went to Connecticut, my fiance and I, to visit her mom, but we had a 5-hour layover in Orlando. So we saw some friends down there, and we just really, and I've been saying for years, like every other Detroiter, you know, I can't, this is not sustainable. You know, I've gotten to a point where just the weather alone, man, it takes a different level of mental toughness. You know, I have a treadmill at home, and I vowed to never live without one at this point, especially being in a place where the winters are as brutal as they are here. So I got on my treadmill for 30 minutes this morning, you know, and that's the thing. This stuff, it's tough, and it's a lot tougher in a place like Detroit. It's no way around that.
So let's upgrade two of those things. Let's move from treadmill to trampoline, sizer.
Okay.
Yeah, studies show way more efficacious than treadmill.
Wow. Okay, I'm here for that.
Your lymphatic system, bro.
Yeah.
Your lymphatic system is going to get way more of a workout than it is on the treadmill, standard walking.
I'll tell you a funny thing, and this, me and my fiance, this is my best friend. So we talk about this all of the time, you know, and we'll see stuff. We'll see a video where somebody jumped from here or some kind of adventurous video, and my mental is always 390. It's like, it's hell no. I would never do that because I would be the guy that would break on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a trampoline, I've never even really fathomed that because it would break or it couldn't hold my weight.
Yeah.
But I'm under 300 pounds, so it should at this point.
No,
right?
this trampoline would definitely do that because it's a double coil trampoline by a guy named David Hall.
Okay.
And again, so when we talk about the lymphatic system, a lot of our weight gain, first of all, is inflammation.
No doubt.
It's chronic inflammation.
Yep.
And I'm not against veganism and I'm not pro carnivore. I'm about what makes sense to you.
Exactly.
But I don't think, personally, veganism is sustainable, and I don't think carnivore is sustainable. And I'm starting to see that from both sides.
Right. Yeah.
So people this goes back to this thing where you have 100 or 200,000 Instagram followers. They following you. Let's say you fell off and you gained 100 pounds. Oh, the backlash that comes.
Yes, exactly.
Right? As if people don't have life situations happen.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm my smallest when I was going through a lawsuit.
Okay. Yep.
I work out. I'm using that energy to fight these people off of me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Every
Right.
waking
So
moment is
I'm
spent.
sorry if I'm not walking around in my best shape or state,
Exactly.
but the people don't care, right?
Man.
So you have that. And now with veganism, I've seen a guy, because what you find with a lot of people in veganism is that they become deficient in certain things. And I saw Paul Chek. Paul Chek is an awesome person to follow, first of all. And he recommended to this one guy who was a vegan guy.
Okay.
His whole channel background's veganism.
Yep.
And he was so deficient. He was so sick. And Paul Chek told him, you need to eat some eggs.
Okay.
8 eggs. Guy got better. Went on his channel. Hey, I ate eggs. Whole vegan community destroys him.
Yeah.
To me, bro, that's sick.
That I agree.
I don't have a problem with people eating whatever they want.
Right.
The problem is back down to when people can't have flexibility
Exactly.
and do something different. Like today, with you being a vegan guy, if you ate a hamburger, are you no longer the vegan guy?
Exactly. And that's the house that I
Now you got to maintain that.
Yeah, right. You know, and that's, it's unnecessary pressure. You know, life again, especially as a black man, is hard enough. But
So that flexibility of mind though is healthy.
yeah,
I
agree.
just from my you can be totally against that.
I agree 100%. And you know, and that's why even on my channel, I try to. I'm vegan for health. There are people who are ethically vegan and for the animals, and I love animals, but this has proven to be my healthiest lifestyle thus far. But do I see holes in it? Hell yes, I do. And am I open to other lifestyle possibilities? Yes, I am. Because that's why I try not to be judgmental. I invite people, welcome to the channel. I don't care what you eat. That's between you and your God. But this is what I'm doing. I've just carved out a window for you to peer through. But do I see myself being vegan for the rest of my life? Probably not. You know, but this has helped me get to this point. And one of the most significant things that I've noticed as a person who's tried every diet and it, you know, a lot of them worked for me, is that my desire for a lot of the fatty foods that I crave generally, it kind of dissipated, you know, and it was mainly due to eating those whole foods. You know, leafy greens and, you know, grains and things like that. So I didn't really have a desire to have a hamburger or fries for a long time. Now, you are who you are, and that does come back at some point. But that's what I noticed, and that's what really kept me on this journey. But as far as sustainability and to, you know, the vegan community is harsh, man. And what I think a lot of it is at a point you've built this up so much, and you've tried to live up to this so much that you actually fear yourself to retract or to eat an animal product, you know, because now you've lived up to it as well. So all of us have built this, whatever you want to call it, and now, you know, and now we have these social media followings, and yeah, if I have salmon, am I the vegan black guy still?
Right. Well, somebody, I don't know where I was, and talking to somebody who I just recently met. They asked me, "Do you drink?" I said, "No, not every day. It's not an everyday thing, and it's not even a once a month thing. It's a very social thing.
Yeah,
Cool. I have a
feel
drink.
like it, yeah.
Cool. But and is I'll just observe the person asking that. I said, so why do you ask me that question in that way?
Right.
Because you have an association about who I am, the mental health gym, inner wealth. He doesn't do anything bad.
Right.
Like, that shows the level of programming within the culture.
Very true.
Allow people to have space and grace to live their life. If I want to go smoke a cigar, I smoke a cigar. I don't smoke cigars, but if I want to.
That's right. Yeah.
If I want to have a drink, I'll have a drink. I'm not having a drink every day, but if I want to.
Yeah, it's okay.
Like I can live my life.
Yeah.
And that's the point. That's, to me, that's mental wealth.
I agree.
When you can have the autonomy to do things different than what people expect you to do. Like
without the guilt.
Without the guilt.
Yeah. Exactly.
Flexibility is what we need. We need to be fluid.
I agree.
You know, so you could still be the vegan guy.
Right. Yeah.
If you ate vegan 80%, you the vegan guy.
Pretty much. That's how I see it.
I'm
right?
the 80% vegan guy, the 20% other guy. That's a new name.
Yeah, exactly. 20% other. Hey, you leave that up to your own interpretation, but and it's okay. Like you say, just to allow that autonomy, man, because life is hard enough, man. I don't need to add more pressure to myself.
Right. Because that's just more stress.
It is. I agree, man. This has helped me. You know, I even in my weight loss journeys and, you know, me being as physically fit as I've been in the past, I've always done it solo. I'm the only child. That's where my comfort level is. Like, I never have a workout partner. I don't want to wait on you to finish a set. I want to do it when I want to do it, how I want to do it. I know my levels. I know what's worked for me. And that could, you know, hinder me to some extent, I'm sure. But you know, I know what works for me. But yeah, man, this journey it's never ending.
So let's go right back to where we first left off with you living at your brothers in the car lot, or not even that far. Let's go to the point where you just said, "I'm gonna do another change. I'm ready." What was the thought process and the energy behind that?
A very funny story. So if you recall, I'm sure you recall, but I came to Inception, right? And I did. I kind of vlogged about it. I did the video, and that day, I believe I was coming down with the flu. I was every bit of 390 pounds at that point. So I know after I did the float tank, I kind of felt the chills, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I'm just not feeling it. So I got sick. I had like a 2-day kind of bug, like the flu or whatever, and I felt it coming earlier that day even. But I believe maybe the next week is when I really started to juice fast, and that's what kind of started my journey, man, because I was, again, that coward suicide every night, especially just to decompress. I would buy a pint of liquor and I would try something different every time. I would cook. I might cook a whole pack of chicken wings, a whole bag of fries. Oh, I would do it up. So, and it was just unhealthy. I would always wake up feeling unrested, rushing to work. It just, again, we talk about that sustainability. That was not sustainable. And, I got to a point where I really felt like I was gonna die in my sleep. That was, it became, I knew my fate at that point. It was like, that's how I'm probably gonna go. And I don't know if I made complete peace with that, but I decided to do a juice fast just to kind of clean some things out. I did that for 7 days. The following 7 days, I'll never forget, I had a fillet of salmon in my freezer. And I'm like, when I break this fast, I'm gonna get to that. But I was feeling so good after that 7-day juice fast that I'm like, you know what? I'll hold that off. I don't want to go that solid, after, dealing with these liquids like that. So I did only fruits and vegetables for the following 7 days. So I made sauteed mushrooms, onions, garlic, peppers, cabbage, what have you. And then fruit, apple, or a banana throughout the day. I did that for another 7 days. I wound up losing about 20 pounds. And I literally had that aha moment where I'm like, oh shit, like I'm vegan. Never tried to be vegan, but technically I'm vegan right now.
Yeah.
I could do this. And I'm one of those guys, like I like a challenge, even if it's, or let's say especially if it's just between me and myself. And here we are 2.5 years later.
Wow. And you committed and you stay committed. What type of ups and downs did you have during that?
Yeah. Life, man, life happening, just fatherhood and, certain things, financial troubles and, relationships ending and beginning throughout that process, changing living circumstances, car trouble, those things are, especially when you deal with any sort of addiction on any level, those are immediate triggers, so,
That can throw you right back.
Oh man, I remember I had a old Volvo. This was a V70 or S70. It was just older model Volvo, and one of the tires, it was bad. Like so, it was kind of leaned in, right? So what it would do is it would cause the inside of the tire to go bald and eventually blow. Now that happened so many times, but the way my money was going to rent, to bills, to child support, I couldn't afford to fix the problem. I could only afford to here and there get a used tire for $30 right around the corner. So I went through about 6 tires. I mean within a couple of months, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So it was days going to work, I would blow a tire, coming back home, of course at the most inopportune times. But so that was a stressor, but I had my treadmill in the basement. I had my weight bench in the basement, and I traded kind of one addiction for the other. And I would I would just try to have that moment with myself, like, okay, this is a moment where I would normally binge eat or go to the liquor store. Let's work out. You know what I mean? And just to touch on that thing about drinking a pint almost every night. At a point, I thought I was an alcoholic. I was just depressed, and I was just reaching for.
Well, let's break that down though. Because you say at the point you thought you were an alcoholic.
Yep.
You probably were.
Okay.
But
yeah,
what is an alcoholic doing?
Seeking that comfort. Exactly. Yeah. That's
So
all it
why
is, yeah.
why is it that, society, we have these terms?
Right.
They're trying to get out of pain.
Exactly.
You're not alcoholics from
Just trying to
I'm just an
forget.
alcoholic. Like
Yeah.
it just came to me now. I'm an
Yeah, I
alcoholic.
just
It's
love
like,
alcohol.
let's go look at the pain.
Exactly.
And the ones who are on the harsh, roughest stuff had a considerable amount of pain.
That's it.
That's it.
And,
So in that moment, you were using what you can to help yourself get out of pain.
that's it.
And if anybody feels that pain, they would say, shit, I get it.
Yeah, right.
I understand.
Pass me something
No,
else.
like,
you
let
know?
me hit
Yeah.
that with you.
Exactly. Yep.
If you can feel, that's empathy, right?
No doubt.
To feel what you're feeling. So, yeah, you probably were, but not in the societal way how we think about it.
Yeah,
But
I guess
you were
highly
abusing.
functioning.
You were abusing something that was helpful for a moment, but long term that's not sustainable either.
Exactly.
It helped you.
Yeah, right. It helped me get through, to some extent. Yeah, and that was the thing. And life is funny, you just reach these phases of again of sustainability. Here I am in this phase where I've lost the weight, I've built this following. Now, how do we turn that? How do we not just monetize it, but how do we take that to the next level? And again, of just that self-realization and feeling our best and performing at our best, and I feel like that's the next level of life, while also, of course, capitalizing on it monetarily. But, I just feel like that's my next phase. But life has these phases, man, and you can't avoid them. And if you can try your best to, but you will go down the path you're supposed to go down.
Everybody who I know, if I have spent time away from them and I reconnect and we start talking, there's one thing constant with everybody's life.
Right.
One, shit is always happening.
Always. No matter who you
Always,
are.
it's always, stuff is always happening. Right? The difference is how we perceive what's happening to us.
Right.
How we're able to have resiliency in moving forward.
There you go.
But it's always happening.
100%. It never stops. And that's the thing, and I'm a firm believer in, especially when you make your goals and your vision known to the world, or just when you just make it known to yourself, something will happen to see just how bad you want that thing, and very recently, man, I enrolled to a prestigious university online that I'm so proud of myself for being admitted. I had to get letters of recommendation, all of this stuff, man. And I would get my degree within 2 years. My credits fully transferred, and lo and behold, I had holds on my account from previous schools that prevented me from receiving financial aid, and now I have to settle these holes that I can't afford to settle at the moment, and it's like a dream deferred right now. You know what I mean? And but that's life,
Delayed but not denied.
Exactly, man. And so that dream is still out there, and I will still make that a reality, man. But that's life, and I had it so mapped out. Like, yeah, when I graduate, the family, we gonna come down here and we gonna rent the Airbnb, and like they say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. So yes, sir.
Yeah. How you talked about going to your TikTok had blew up. So what happened from there? Like, how did that happen?
Right. So I started July 7th, 2021, just this year.
And I saw it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook, and I was just like, saw where you were and where you went to.
Just and I just night before last, I crossed over to 300,000 followers.
Wow, congratulations!
Thank you.
So,
man.
what is the main theme on there? Is it being vegan?
For the most part, it's just my lifestyle as this vegan black guy, and that was the thing. I know I'm a minority in this space, and this is my take on it. But at the same time, a lot of the videos that do go viral from me are, I do these 60-second or less reviews on natural health supplements. You know, I mean, it could be anything: black seed oil, baking soda, turpentine. I'd have an ultimate detox. One I did was borax. How you can actually take. I took a teaspoon of borax this morning, but that got banned. So it's weird, man. This stuff.
So the supplements is the thing that's the.
Yeah.
But you see how the American mindset is?
Exactly.
These supplements gonna fix my issues.
That's all anybody
The magic
wants.
pill.
Now, if you look through my comment section, it's about, everybody wants the quick way. What's the recipe? What's a quick way? And those are the videos that go viral. Is this a cure-all? The closest thing to a cure-all that we can find. And of course, as a content creator, I have to play on those things to some extent.
Yeah.
But I always follow up with, hey, don't forget, this is my gym video. Those videos never go viral.
Yeah.
This is what I'm in the kitchen. I'm spending an hour preparing and cooking. This is what I'm watching every morning before I do anything. And it is what it is. But like I say, it's just a peer into the window of my life.
And that's like you said, peer, because nobody sees the backstory that all led up to this. Like, you've had times where you've lost over 100 pounds before. And you've been here, and it's like, and those things aren't bad things.
Exactly.
They're part of your journey to build you. So what people look and they're like, oh, you just did that? You just went from this to this?
That easy?
Like, oh, great. Yeah.
Right.
So that shows you it's a lot of people kind of have that mindset, and people think about it for what we do as well. I see comments, I came into Inception and it didn't work for me.
It didn't work, yeah.
I said, well, what was the way that you expected that it work for you?
Right.
What was the expectation of working for you? Because there's one thing that you said. You said you had the flu. You started feeling like you had the flu.
Yep.
You floated.
Yep.
And then you went and changed your life.
Wow. Exactly. And
I'm not trying to listen.
Right?
I'm not trying to make the association out of something that's there, but I know how the stuff works.
Exactly.
And when you're in a zero gravity flotation environment and you're in that amount of Epsom salt, bro, you were heavily detoxing.
Wow.
Floating does that for you, and it gives you amount of mental space. Literally, your resources in your body are not being used to fight threat. So when you walk out, things have been moving.
Right.
Emotions have been moving. Liquid fluid, lymphatic fluid, blood fluid, all starting to go flow better. Man. So now it gives you the space to say, you know what? I'm going to go and do this.
It's time to reevaluate some things.
Yeah, because you have the space to.
Exactly.
If you're carrying groceries and you got all your arms filled and somebody tries to give you something else to do, but it's very important, what are you going to do? You got your arms are filled.
Exactly.
It's not until you put the bags down that you have space enough to grab something and say, man, now let me go and do something different.
There you go.
So these weight loss journeys and diets, like, I think it's important for us to begin to reframe how we think about things. Stop doing diets.
Right. Yep, I agree.
It's just a lifestyle change. Diets like, oh, I'm trying to get from here to here by this date.
Right.
Talk about that, bro. You see a lot of that.
Yeah, a lot of that. It's unhealthy, man, and it's about sustainability. Like, I mean, we all have goals, and it's okay to have a short-term goal to get to this weight by this time, but what are you really doing in the long term to yourself? Are you setting yourself up for failure? And like you said, I see it all the time. I've done it. You know what I mean? And I, being a person who has gained and lost weight so much, I know my capacity to do so and how much time I have to do it. But in the long run, 90% of the time you're gonna gain that weight back. And when you gain that weight back, you feel
You
shitty.
feel even worse,
You
right?
know what I mean?
Do you feel, is it a worse, if there's a quantified effect, do you feel worse? Do you feel more depressed?
To an extent, you can, especially when you know better. And that's the thing, you know, and I do it more frequently than I wish I would, but you hit that point where it's just like, I know better than this. And not only that, I know how, you know, I know the bad stuff that I'm putting in my body. I'm still doing it. I know that I can reverse it. And I guess that's the crutch, is that you know that you can turn it around. But in the long run, it's not healthy. You cannot shake that feeling of depression after you gain all of the weight back that you lost. You cannot shake that 3 to 7 day to 1 month rut that you're in after you've done something against your own understanding of how it really is supposed to work, you know?
Have you ever seen the guys who were really in shape and they purposely gained all this weight to just understand how it feels to go through that, and you saw that? What'd you see with them?
They get emotional. You see that all the time. And it's, for a person who has struggled with weight loss, a part of me is like, yep, you should do that. You should do that to understand this struggle, because a lot of those people, and I see a common theme with that, is a lot of them are people who have never been overweight. And then it's like, they would say like, you know, I've always kind of told people, just, you know, kind of pull yourself up by the bootstraps, just change your mind.
Yeah.
And then you get into it and it's like, shit, I can't. You know, you literally feel like you're drowning. I feel you get to a point where you feel like, I can't get out of this. Maybe this is how I'm meant to be. And yeah, technically it is easier to just grab the comfort food, but your quality of life is so low, man. It's not worth living at some point, you know, and you have to make that change.
If I was a fitness trainer again, what I would do, and I've been thinking about this recently, is, and I used to do it already, is taking a full evaluation of where a person is mentally, emotionally.
Yep.
And starting, like, I walk 10 miles a day in the summer.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't try, I just do it.
Yeah, see?
Because I wasn't going anywhere, I was just walking. During the pandemic, for real, like in the beginning, just walking.
I got in great shape during the
Like
pandemic.
just walking, this basic thing, walking, you know, but taking an assessment and understanding where a person is and the things that have going on in their life.
Right.
Until certain things, baseline things are rectified,
Right.
you can't climb Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of need. You're in survival mode. And that's why it's easier to be stuck at a place where you're out of what you want to call shape, or you're just not living the best version of yourself, because you have some baseline situations that need to be taken care of. Let's leave the people with maybe one or two things that, even if they're at baseline, because we got to start from the bottom. We can't just go, I'm just going to go and buy a bunch of vegan food.
Right.
That ain't, no. What is the baseline things that people can do to begin that journey?
I would say, you know, I even go back to what I vowed to myself, is to never live without a treadmill, man. And that was one of the best investments I've ever made. So especially if you live in a place with brutal winters, tax season is coming up. We can, you know what I mean? I know it's a big purchase, but under $1,000, you can get a good treadmill, especially, you know, when you're overweight, you do have to go for treadmills with a higher weight capacity. You know, you want to go for one that's well built and, you know, up to 350, 400 pound capacity. But tax season is coming. You can convince yourself you need this car or that thing, or invest in your health. So I would say a treadmill, especially when you, again, live in the northern regions. Drink, when you think you're drinking enough water, drink more. Water and weight loss go hand in hand. I tell people a gallon a day, and I know that's, you know, that's reaching a little bit, but the more water you drink, the better the process works. It's just like oil to a machine. You know what I mean? It just helps it run smoothly. Other than that, man, your mental health diet is more important than you know. Again, it's not a day that I wake up that I'm not finding some sort of inspiration or motivation. And I know that stuff, again, those things are fickle too, but a good word, let's just say that, you know what I mean? So I listen to Bishop T.D. Jakes, Eric Thomas, even the Social Proof podcast, my man David Shands.
I met Dave at
really?
when I was out in Atlanta. Yeah,
that's dope.
So
like,
shout out to David. We on EYL Network.
There we go. Yeah, shout out to David Shands, man. And he did with his podcast what I wanted to do with mine at the time, you know. And so just consuming that content that's conducive to the lifestyle that you want to live. And it isn't, again, like they say, Rome isn't built in a day. This shit is not overnight. Every day, I'm 120 pounds down, and every day, all day, every time I have a free moment, I'm the Secret to Success podcast, Eric Thomas, you know, and the guys, that's every Thursday. I don't miss a podcast. I'm in the kitchen cooking, listening to the podcast. I'm waking up, listening to whoever it is I feel like listening to that day. I'm David Goggins. A few motivational videos.
Love Goggins.
You gotta love Goggins. That's a different monster. You know, that's when you're ready for Goggins.
Yeah.
Like you don't just jump into it listening to Goggins.
Goggins is a old school man, bro.
Exactly.
And I love it.
Love it.
Because we're missing that in this society.
I agree.
It's old school, hard nosed, like, yo, get up and do it. I'm about empathy. And I'm about,
I understand.
I can feel, I can understand. I can understand those things. But, bro, just to leave us on this last word, it's consistency over intensity.
Yes, sir.
And you're only going to get to the goal by going down a journey step by step. There ain't no magic cure.
Exactly.
There ain't no magic pill. There ain't no magic weight loss supplement. There ain't no magic diet.
That's right.
But there is a magic mind. And until you get a hold of that mind and learn how to use it, and instead of it using you, then if you can't do that, you won't get to where you want to go. We have to take control of our mindsets. But the only way we do that is by feeling the feelings that we have and releasing those feelings. Remember, store fat. Fat is just stored energy. And what's stored in the fat? Emotions.
It's certainly in mine.
Emotions.
No doubt.
So we got to release these emotions. You know, again, gravitate towards the things that are healthy for us and resourceful for us, not just short term, but long term.
Exactly.
All right. Till next time, guys.
All right. See y'all at the top.
You've been listening to the Inner Wealth Podcast on EYL.
Get out the matrix and live.
Theme song produced by Be Ready for West Coast Creations. I am Razcast, reminding you to take action, be proactive, be congruent, get out of the matrix, get your mind right. We've automated mental health at inception. Join the movement. Inner Wealth Podcast. Inner Wealth Podcast. Inner Wealth Podcast.
Get out the matrix and live.